Can you earn a living in Singapore as a leather artisans? Of course you can, but I would say not just by being a leather artisan. There's marketing involved, there is social media and stuff like that. So making the best product doesn't help, I would say. You have to cover all areas, photo taking and stuff like that, marketing to your clients.
I think like as a leather artisan, you can make a living if you are purely doing leather crafting and you're working from home, right? You don't have a lot of overheads. But if you want to take it further and run a business, then you need more skills than just leather crafting skills. You need marketing skills, that's a big part of running a business. Are you able to spot differences between genuine branded goods and fake ones? Okay, this one is tough because I've seen fake leather goods that are as good as the genuine ones in terms of being made from the exact same leather from the same tannery, and then they are crafted to the exact same specifications. So apart from maybe a microchip being put inside an original one, right? Sometimes to the naked eye or even to a trained eye, it can be hard to tell.
There are some fake ones which uses, maybe PVC leather or PU leather. For that, of course, there's way to tell. There's burn tears, there's cut tears. But it's not practical to do so. You cannot go into the shop and then burn their bags. So I think it's with experience you can tell, but it's really, really very hard to tell with the technology nowadays, I would say.
That's right.
What is the difference between handmade leather goods and those made in a factory? I would say the stitching, we handmade, we hand stitch them. In factory, they machine stitch the items. And the difference between handmade and machine stitch items are that it's repairable. For machine stitch, let's say on your clothes, right? If there's a broken string or what, you pull, the whole thing will come off. Whereas for hand stitch method, we use cross stitch or saddle stitch. It doesn't come off, it can be repaired easily in the future.
Can I start making leather products using simple tools at home? I would say yes. If you have a piece of leather and you have cutting tools at home, you have thread, you have needles and scissors at home, you can definitely make a simple leather item. But of course, depending on the level of finishing that you're trying to achieve, you may need some specialized tools.
If you're going to do it at home, right, get a basic set of leather crafting tools, not so expensive.
Not so expensive.
Probably help a bit with the safety also.
What is your first ever piece of work? Okay, wait, let me show you. Okay, so this is my first piece of work. It's a belt that I made maybe about 15 years ago. It's the very first item I wanted to try and make with leather. So I've been using it ever since. I
started repairing samurai armor and stuff like that, right? So the first piece of work is actually restoration work for the armor itself. But the first piece of finished product that I made from start to end is actually just a small bracelet. So but it's gone now. It disappeared already. What goes on in your mind during the process of making each piece? Actually depends. If this is a piece for our customers, right? I always think, okay, be careful, don't scratch it. But if it's for myself or for friends, what I'm thinking of is always how it will end up in a person's possession, how he's going to wear it, how the leather will season over time. So I have to design and make it according to how they use it.
For different items, the thought process actually is different. Like for me, there are some pieces where I pattern make as I go because it's a more experimental piece, right? Usually, my thought process will be like the template making. We will work on the patterns to think about the measurements, and then for the making, we think about the thickness of each piece, and then for the end product, we think about whether will the customer like it.
How do you get inspiration for every piece of work that you do? For me, actually quite straightforward because most of my designs are Japanese inspired. So it's always, geared towards the Japanese samurai armor, the Japanese samurai sword and stuff like that. So I always take inspiration from there. Every time I design a product, I'll look at a lot of pictures. I'll just look at the armors that I have, helmets that I have. So nothing really too fancy other than that.
For me, it's that as a designer or creative, you're inspired every day by when you walk down the street, when you visit a museum or anything that you see, we keep it in our memories, right? And then when a project comes along and then you draw back on this memories and say, hey, I remember actually there's this particular shape that can fit this item well. Or on days where the brain runs really dry, then it's about the discipline to sit down and just keep sketching and sketching until you see, hey, actually this can work, and then you develop further from there.